Hello, everybody.
Good morning.
We're back.
Got the tea going.
Yeah, we want to welcome all our new subscribers and welcome everybody into our home. And just a quick update. Many of you have asked what happened with Dan and Anna's judicial hearing and what was the outcome. The outcome was the elders requested their DA letters and it was supposed to be announced this past week. So
No big surprise there, is there?
yeah, saw it right off.
Yeah. I also want to thank Faithful Slave for the shout out.
Yes.
You know, dude, if I'd have taken a fall like you did in the ice, I'd be hurting for a month.
I probably have a broken hip.
I would probably be walking with a walker right now, wouldn't I? Dude, I hope you didn't get hurt too bad.
Yeah. So,
Look forward to Skyping with you this coming Sunday. It's going to be a privilege and an honor to get to know you a little bit more personally.
Yes.
And look forward to that.
Yep. And I'm behind on my emails again because we got so many, in support of Dan and Anna and asking questions. We've had a lot of people contacting us saying, oh my goodness, I've been trying to fade, and I thought I was successful, is this true? And it's like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it is. When it comes to this organization, eventually everybody's going to get caught. As far as I'm concerned, there's no such thing as a successful fade.
Well, look at the YouTube channel. It's JW Mo, N-O-M-O. And him and his wife thought they had done a successful fade for 9 years. And they're putting up Christmas lights, and the elders are out there taking pictures. And then they get a certified letter and inviting them to their judicial hearing. So,
in reality, Watchtower is their own self-imposed police state.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is.
So
what are we doing here with this particular one?
Well, Mikey has been saying for a long time now about the Jehovah's Witness and the blood policy is human sacrifice.
Legalized human sacrifice.
Now I think we have proof and...
Well, yes. We've got something here on our computer that... someone sent us, and we want to thank you so much for this. But before we get into this, I want to give you a little bit of historical tidbit. Because of the historical reenactments and encampments that I do, I'm a huge history buff. And one of the things that I've learned over the years is how medical science has progressed through the years, and how we're at where we're at today from a medical science from that standpoint. A lot of experimentation started during the Civil War conflict here in the United States. A lot of the doctors during that war had the mindset that, well, this soldier's going to die anyways, why don't we try this to save his life. From the Civil War, the United States came bone grafting, came skin grafting, came a better use of anesthesia, there we go, and things of that nature. Every time there's a war, there's human experimentation on people. And really, when you think about the last couple of wars that the United States have been involved in, we've seen huge leaps in medical science with robotics. Robotic hands, arms, legs, and it's just a sad reality is what it truly becomes, that these wars have to lead to human experimentation, because there's always somebody that has put themselves in a position to be experimented on.
And Jehovah's Witnesses are just there for the taking.
Different. Exactly. This document that was sent to us shows this.
And we want to thank everybody who sent us this PDF, and it is on the FDA.gov website. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to post a link to it down below. And this is the Center for Biologics Evaluation and Research, FDA, the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute, NIH, and Office of the Secretary and Office of Public Health and Science, DHHS. And this conference was about hemoglobin-based oxygen carriers, current status, and future directions.
Now, we do know, being Jehovah's Witnesses for the vast majority of our lives, every time there's been some medical breakthrough that involves Jehovah's Witnesses, they're always quick to take credit for this.
Yeah.
You know, I can't cite anything specifically right now because this is obviously unscripted. But being Jehovah's Witnesses, you know, we've heard through literature that, well, thanks to Jehovah's Witnesses' stance on blood, there's now new and updated medical procedures and things like that.
Well, there's actually 3 videos now on jw.org about the medical challenge of the blood issue.
Mm-hmm.
And same thing, it talks about because of witnesses in their stand against blood transfusions has advanced medical, you know, procedures and stuff. But you don't stop and actually think about it.
Involved.
Oh, wait a minute. That makes Jehovah's Witnesses lab rats.
Well, they are in a spiritual war, aren't they?
Yeah. Okay, this conference is from 2008, and they have a whole lot of medical doctors and everything else.
Now, these, what I'm presuming, is the minutes from this.
This is a transcript of this meeting, and they have a list of their agendas, and one of them is like functional aspects of the HBOCs as a class. Now, the HBOCs are the hemoglobin. You know, the oxygen carrying, the non-blood alternatives that witnesses keep saying, oh, they've done this just for witnesses. They've got a whole...
Well, they've done it just for witnesses because they're willing to be lab rats, aren't they? You know, here's the thing. You've got a Jehovah's Witness on the operating table, and it's either give them blood or they're going to die. It's at that point that some in the medical community say, well, let's experiment. Let's do a clinical trial right here, right now, because either way, this person's going to die. And that's what these minutes are bringing out. It's bringing out the mentality of these doctors who, by the way, as far as I'm concerned, are being pushed solely by the pharmaceutical companies, because it's the pharmaceutical company that ultimately is going to benefit from the money derived from these experimental drugs and things like this.
Yeah, but you know, witnesses always hail how great this is, non-blood alternative, but when you start looking at this, it talks about the HBOC's toxicity, and it's dangerous. And in these documents, they actually call it a failure.
Yeah. See, and it's lab rats. It's experimenting on Jehovah's Witnesses because they're such an extremist when it comes to the blood doctrine. You know, Jehovah's Witnesses, if you were to really take that scripture at Acts chapter 15 and backtrack, there's only 2 things that blood prohibition is talking about. It's the eating of animal blood and murder. It's not talking about using blood as a medical alternative for saving your life.
Now, for those of you who don't know this and have a computer, you can click on Control and F, and a little tiny search box will come up in the upper right-hand corner, so you don't have to read all 300 pages of this document.
Yeah, it's a long read.
And if you just type Jehovah's Witnesses in that search box, like 17 will come up, and then there's little arrows to where you can click at each instance Jehovah's Witnesses are mentioned. And the first mention is here on page 13. And it says, we have patients, Jehovah's Witnesses or other groups of patients who are really practically dying in front of our eyes without being able to do anything. So basically,
human sacrifice.
We can use them for clinical studies, lab rats, because they're dying anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sad. It's truly, truly sad.
Yeah. And like I said, it goes through this whole thing, and this is a very interesting document. And like I said, you can just click on these arrows, and it goes to each individual mention of Jehovah's Witnesses, and they even mentioned talking about working with the hospital liaison and getting this network going so that they will bring witnesses to you to be studies. And basically, they will agree to almost anything instead of having a blood transfusion or dying.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is really sad.
And they're even talking about on some of these experimental drugs and stuff that if it were not for Jehovah's Witnesses, there would be no market for this drug. It's sad. It truly is sad how the medical community has now come to think who and what Jehovah's Witnesses are in these life and death situations. Nothing but lab rats.
Well, the last section here, this is page, I don't see a page, but it's number 17 of the mention of witnesses, that it would only be commercial, it would only interest the commercial companies in this room if there was a widespread off-label use. There's no market and no one would sink a dime into it if the market were Jehovah's Witnesses. So they really don't care about Jehovah's Witnesses and don't care about this, but because of profits.
Right. And which is all driven by the pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah, but you know, there's some serious concerns because of the toxicity and some other side effects that they're not told.
Here's the thing: look at the TV programs that have commercials from pharmaceutical companies. They have this wonder drug, but oh, by the way, this wonder drug causes this, and this, and this. If it causes this, see you. So, I mean, really, you're almost better off living with the problem than taking the drug to cure the problem.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Take a pill for incontinence and then having a chance of having a heart attack or stroke. Let's see. I think I'll live with the Depends.
Yeah, exactly.
So, anyway, like I said, I'll post a link to this down below. And I just want to ask Jehovah's Witnesses, how do you feel about being a lab rat?
Yep.
And see, there's no proof here that Watchtower is getting kickbacks from these pharmaceutical companies, but it makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Makes you wonder.
Yeah. So they're not going to change.
They've got their hands in everything else, haven't they?
Yeah. And the thing is we've heard for a fact that when the hospital liaison comes in, those brothers do not tell the family in most cases that they can take blood fractions. So, you know, it just appears that there's a whole big conspiracy with this whole thing, and Watchtower working with, you know, the hospital liaison and these doctors and these clinical trial runs.
Well, now that really begs the question, too, that, you know, what good is it going to do for any of us to go into a hospital, talk to the anesthesiologist or even the doctors about some of the issues that us apostates are very well aware of, the flip-flopping of the doctrines and everything else. Honestly, what good is it going to benefit us to educate about Jehovah's Witnesses when the vast majority of the medical community are using them for experimental devices?
Yeah.
Doesn't do no good.
Yeah. And we know that witnesses, you know, if you're told, okay, you're going to die if you do not take a blood transfusion. Well, is there any non-blood alternative? Well, we have this new drug that we're running tests on that so far seems to be okay.
Yeah. Give me that. And they die anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's truly, truly sad. So it's...
Yep, exactly. So, take it for what it's worth. But interesting.
Thanks for watching, and we'll catch up with you next time around.
Bye.
Bye.